Hello, welcome to another outdoor tip by Off the Beaten Path Matt. I'm going to do just a two-part series here on visitor centers. The first little short clip here is going to be about the tactics that they use to control the information that is put out to you, the customer, or the public. For instance, I produce a map that I want to get into a visitor center so that the public can buy it and be able to see exactly where the roads are, see some stuff, some points of interest, that kind of thing. What I have to do is produce that map, take a copy down to the land agency that area is managed by, let them review it, and see if it complies with everything that they want the public to know. Now, of course, you want to make sure that the roads are accurate. You want to make sure that if a road's closed, the public knows that road's closed. You want to make sure that if it's a four-wheel drive road only, that the public knows that it's a four-wheel drive road only. That's not what they're checking. What they're checking is to make sure that whatever their policies are, whatever their underlying motives are, is portrayed upon that map. For instance, now National Geographic does a lot of mapping. They do some really good products. The Trails Illustrated products are great products, and they put a lot of time into it. I helped them about a year or so ago review their Manti-La-Sal, their new Manti-La-Sal map, and they had me review it, they had land agencies review it, so they put a lot of time and effort to make sure you get correct information. The problem is that when they go to the BLM and the Forest Service, and the Forest Service or the BLM says, no, we do not want this area here to illustrate that there's a road there, even though there may be a perfectly good county legal maintained road, the BLM can say, no, we don't want you to illustrate that. And the National Geographic, or whoever it may be, Off the Beaten Path Maps, has to take it off if they want to sell their maps in the visitor centers. Because the visitor centers are controlled by the Natural History Association. Natural History Association, and in this area it's called Canyonlands Natural History Association, their job is to sell these products in the visitor centers. The money that comes in then goes back to the land agencies, the BLM, the National Park Service, and the Forest Service, and so on. So their responsibility is to those land agencies. So when a product comes in, if the land agency says, no, we don't want you to carry this product because it shows a ruin, or because it shows a road here, or whatever the reason, the Visitor Center or Canyonlands Natural History Association will not carry that product. A good example of that is a writer by the last name of Barnes. He's written several different books. Some of them are good, some of them, are out there a little bit, but I mean, he's a good writer, and he gives out a lot of good information. If you want to know where to go see some ruins, out of Mule Canyon or something, he's got a book probably out there that tells you. He did a great study on the Spanish Trail. Well, anyway, he's one of the top sellers in this area because of the information he puts in the books. You can actually, as the public, get his book, find where you want to go see some things you want to see, and not spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the writer's trying to talk about. Problem is, we went into the Moab Visitor Center, this has been about a year ago, and asked for his book, the one that he did the study on the Spanish Trail, asked for that book, and we were informed by the representative there that they no longer carry his books because he puts ruins in them, he does things that the land agencies don't want him to do, so they have discontinued carrying his books. So basically what it is a good example of that we'll all understand is when you watch the old gangster movies, and the poor guy, he's sitting there with his little store, and he's behind the counter, and here comes two guys in a suit. They walk in and they say, listen, we got a deal for you. You either pay us some money and we'll keep you safe. It'll be insurance. If you don't pay us, you might have an accident, or your store might burn down, or you might even get robbed, who knows. But, if you pay us, we'll make sure everything's good. Same thing, as far as I'm concerned. if you do not comply with the BLM, the Forest Service, National Park Service, on any product that you produce, be it pictures, maps, books, whatever it is, you cannot get it into CNHA, the Canyonlands Natural History Association, or any of the natural history associations throughout the United States. They will not carry it. The visitor centers in this area, with the national parks that we have natural bridges, we have canyonlands, we have arches, we have Hove and Weep. With just those parks here alone, you get millions of visitors every year. For someone trying to sell something like Off the Beaten Path Maps, that is an excellent market. But if you can't get in it because of the land agencies, or because maybe CNHA decides, you know, maybe the person buying there decides that you've done him wrong somehow or done them wrong, and they don't want to carry your product. So they lock you out of the whole thing, which locks you out of that whole market. So you can see why the bigger producers like National Geographic and things like that, they do the best they can. They try to give the best possible information they can, but they do have to comply with these land agencies, and they have to succumb to this strong arm tactic of them that either you do it or you're not going to sell your product in our visitor centers. They have to do that. So like, for instance, Dark Canyon Plateau, you look at the Trails Illustrated one that I helped review. You start going out Dark Canyon Plateau and you get out there and there's an old runway there. The road stops on that map right there and goes to a trail. The reason for that is because the BLM is trying to convince you, the public, that that road is no longer open, that it's a trail. They're lying. They're telling you a falsity. That road is a public road. It is a county-owned, operated, maintained road. And it goes for another 3 or 4 miles beyond there. And they do that throughout the whole county. And that's just in this area. You know, I can't imagine what they're doing in other areas. They're doing the same thing. So anyway, when you go to the visitor center and you buy a product and you're hoping to have the best product possible, you're getting a good product, but be aware that it's what the BLM and the Forest Service and the land agents, National Park Service, wants you, the public, to know and not know is what's going to be sold to you. Thank you. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.